Well, moving on to something completely different, an FIR has been registered against actor Ranveer Singh by the Mumbai police for apparently hurting the sentiments of women because of nude photographs of him that were posted on social media. The complainant is apparently with an NGO and has said that the actor hurt the sentiments of women in general and insulted their modesty through his photographs. Well, that story has caused quite a bit of controversy today. Joining us first to talk about that is Shobhaa. Shobhaa, I guess people have really very little to do these days, but what do you make of this bizarre controversy?
It's clearly someone trying to get some publicity out of a non-issue. For heaven's sake, an adult man takes an informed decision to strip for a photo shoot. He's not committing any crime. And when you're talking about offending the modesty of women, I mean, surely I can turn that question around and say, does a girl who strips for a photo shoot offend the modesty of the men of this country? We have a love-hate relationship with our movie stars, and we certainly have a very strange relationship with nudity. The shoot is entirely his prerogative. It's in an international publication, and it's quite different had he been sort of running around Gateway of India, running around naked at the Gateway of India, attracting attention and flashing women. Yes, then that would be justified, and a woman could say, I mean, this is a criminal offense. But in this case, it's a shoot, and let's just treat it for what it is. It could be something that he's done for his own personal gratification, vanity, publicity. It's entirely his call and no one's business. It sounds like a huge fuss created in a jockstrap, if you ask me. So pardon the pun, but people really don't seem to have anything better to do. It's not a national issue at all. And to the contrary, there's been a lot of favorable response from people who say that it was very brave, very courageous, very bold of him to have done what he did. He's not the first Bollywood actor to have bared it all. We've had Amir Khan doing that. We've had Rahul Bose. We've had Ranveer showing more than just his profile in his very first movie. Anil Kapoor in the old days has done similar shoots. A lot of women have done very risque shoots and continue to do risque shoots. So I see, first of all, a gender bias here. And I wonder what the response would have been had Ranveer's wife, Deepika, done a shoot of a similar kind, say for lingerie brand. What would the
But you know, you're right, it's not a national issue at all, and the only reason we're talking about it is because, as much as we may laugh about it, the fact is that the moment an FIR is filed, you know, it's like the Supreme Court said, the process becomes the punishment. So there's actually now a case against him, and it's harassment. It's just harassment, like, frankly, for nothing.
Quite right, but I'm sure that he has the means, the wherewithal, the lawyers at his command to fight this case and show it up for how flimsy it is and what a waste of public money and time and energy and the waste of the courts, everything, resources, because there is, it's not a case, it's not even an issue. When they're talking about offending the modesty of women, which women are they talking about? Which women, apart from this particular publicity-seeking NGO representatives, have gone on and on social media to say that they've been offended by his photo shoot? I haven't seen anything of the kind, and frankly, this doesn't even deserve the kind of attention it's getting. Not just it's playing out in India, it's gone into a sort of viral stratosphere, but internationally too, it's being carried as a very big story about India's hypocritical attitude towards nudity, though, as we all know, we have various representations in the classical tradition of nudity for centuries. So whoever these people...
So actually, we've got the complainant with us. Vedika Chaubey is an advocate. She's also a former journalist. And she is the complainant in this case. Also with us, Karuna Nundy, advocate of the Supreme Court. Mr. Prahlad Kakkar is with us today. Akhilesh Chaubey is an advocate in this matter as well. I just want to go to Vedika Chaubey first and ask her, Vedika Chaubey, what exactly has offended you about this photo shoot? I wanted to understand.
See, basically, I have two daughters at home. They have online classes, and that iPad, laptop are with them. So in case, I've just scrolled the Google News and it was all over. So this is not a thing that should be carried, that should be posted in public. This is what offended me most. Like next day, the very next day when I went to office, every female staff of mine was talking about the same thing. Like, how can you do this? How can, this can't be shown. This is not a thing that you show it in public. And there has to be some restriction on it. Like there is some law, some law should be followed.
But why are your kids on the iPad looking at whatever they want?
Online classes,
I'm sure you have parental control.
Online classes. It's compulsory. They have to take iPad, laptop, everything. Nowadays, even the kids in junior KG, even they have to take some internet. We have to provide them. So if all the Bollywood people are not offending it because they are from the same society, but we as a public, we have a problem. We have an issue being a woman. I felt offended, and this is, I think each and every woman of common woman have felt the same thing.
Actually, no, not really. You, I mean, on social media, at least, I'm not offended. I don't think Karuna Nundy is offended.
Many
there are lots of people. Then what are you offended by? I mean, see, as a woman, forget that. I'm not even talking about the children part of it, but as a woman, what is offending you? It's just a naked man. So what?
So what? Because see, naked men, I don't see a naked man roaming around on streets.
But he's not roaming around on the streets. It's a photo shoot.
He is on street. Social media is a street itself.
But there are lots of things that are on social media.
He is posting on Instagram, Twitter. He is posting it everywhere, and you open the Google thing and you'll find his pictures and his video.
Yes, but you'll also find a lot of other things on the internet.
I don't think so. Other things, see, that's a porn thing. Why porn is banned? Why porn is banned?
Are you saying that people are not accessing it? I don't understand this.
I don't know who is accessing it.
Like I said, it's just a guy who's, you know, why are you so uncomfortable, frankly, with him being naked? I don't understand. What is vulgar about it?
Of course this is vulgar.
Why?
We can see his bum. His video is with me. He's completely nude in that video. I don't know how many people will understand that thing.
Okay, I'm sorry, I just cracked up.
Maybe you may laugh, madam, you may laugh, but this is a common thing, that this is a national issue which needs to be brought, which needs to be restricted. There are people sitting on the panel that they will allow their kids to go naked and post it on social media.
You have to come in here and please explain. I mean, I'm sorry I cracked up there, but I really don't understand what the offence is, and I don't. Vedika Chaubey has a right to her point of view. It's not funny. But Karuna Nundy, what law does he actually violate here? Because he's been booked under various sections. So what does he actually violate? Does he have the potential to be in trouble here?
You know, he's already in trouble because of the FIR that has been filed against him and the of Damocles that hangs over his head. Ms. Chaubey, had she filed this case prior to 2014, might have had an arguable case. And that is because the Hicklin test is what governed prior to 2014, prior to the Roth test being brought in Avik Sarkar. Now, what does this mean in plain words? The Hicklin test was what Madhavi Diwan, who's one of the ASGs of this government and also, you know, very good, has some very good writing on free speech. She calls it the most vulnerable constituency test. So therefore, the most vulnerable constituency, including children, were likely to see this. Does it offend them or not? That was the Hicklin test. That has been explicitly overruled and gotten rid of by the Supreme Court in Avik Sarkar. In the Avik Sarkar judgment, what the Supreme Court said was this, is that, one, it is community standards that must govern. Two, and it is only if you are appealing to the prurient interests of the public that a reasonably strong-minded person could withstand. So the standard is not that child who, you know, frankly, people should have child controls for. Children should not be on the internet without being monitored in an age-appropriate way, because there are rape threats all the time on Twitter. There are death threats, there are beheadings, there are all sorts of terrible things happening that are not child appropriate, and particularly on social media. So protecting children can't be an argument. It's the reasonable, strong-minded person. What is a prurient interest? A prurient interest is with regard to an activity. The Bombay High Court, it was Justice Shinde, I think, set out a judgment with regard to Section 67A of the Information Technology Act. And he said that, look, he dismissed the case, he quashed the case under 67A, which has also been cited by Ms. Chobe, by saying that there must be sexual activity, which means that there must be at least two people. So the fact that a case is filed means that this is going to go on now for years.
Exactly.
And I think that FIRs cannot be registered contrary to law in this manner. And I think that where in speech offences, so-called speech offences, what we desperately need is a setup where the DGP, IG, SP of police examine the complaint and say, look, is this accordance with the Supreme Court's interpretation of these, IPC offences and constitutional law? Is this free speech?
So you're saying the FIR itself is you're saying the FIR itself is a violation of the law. That's what you're saying.
I am saying the FIR is a violation of his 19(1)A rights, his constitutional rights, and also of those who, who might be interested, like who says this is not art. I don't think this is Michelangelo, but people may think, some people might. Clearly the magazine does, right?
So let me ask Akhilesh Chaubey the same question. Akhilesh Chaubey, you're an advocate, and what do you make of, what Karuna Nundy is saying, that this actually is fundamentally a waste of everyone's time?
Maybe, but before I answer you, I would like to ask you one question. Why you are showing only those pictures in which he is having wearing underwear? Why you are not showing the other one? And
because you might come and file an FIR against us. We don't know.
No. Apart from these 5 pictures, there are more pictures which are there in the social media. Have you seen those pictures?
Yeah.
We had went to the police station. We asked him simply to register an FIR under Section 292 and 293. Okay. Subsequently, the development came. They had a talk with their legal advisor. They went to the CP, and subsequently, second day they lodged registered this FIR. So what is this? One thing may be obscene for one person and may not be obscene for other person. The Section 292 is very clear. If any obscene shootings, documents or creation, if it is distributed, if it is posted, that comes under Section 292. What we have done, we have just lodged an FIR. Let the investigation agency do their work. Let them take the advice from other legal eagles, and then they will come to a conclusion whether they want to file a charge sheet or not. Why you are making so hue and cry in this?
We are making the hue and cry, sir. The hue and cry has been made by you.
See, your first guest, Shobhaa Day, said that NGO wants the cheap publicity. We are not Shobhaa Day to ask for a cheap publicity. We have lodged a simple complaint. We went to the police station, lodged a simple complaint that we did not like this photograph. Kindly register.
So don't look at the photograph. Who's forcing you? If you don't like it, you don't like it.
These photographs are all over. Last film which was released was Simba. He has got followers, 14 million followers on his Twitter, and majority of those followers are young students.
How do you know? Did you do a count?
Mobile phones. And let the court decide now. Who are we to talk about that? We have lodged a complaint. Investigation agency found something. They register an FIR. They are investigating.
Because FIRs, Prahlad Kakkar, are launched, are lodged at the drop of a hat in this country. Clearly, the police has nothing better to do, and the rest of us have nothing better to do.
No, but we are now launching FIRs against every hurt sentiment that you can imagine. Everybody got a sentiment.
He has been paid
it's such a waste of court time because it does not have money.
Shobhaa Day, Prahlad Kakkar.
If we don't want to see the
Mr. Chaubey, let Mr. Kakkar answer, please.
Nobody is forcing you to see the photograph.
Applicable on this, whether he knows that, why this FIR has been
Nobody
lodged.
is forcing you to see the photograph. They are all rubbish. You all want publicity.
This is what
because
they
you never
stand.
did it. This is the first time you come on television, right? You never come on television in your life.
Times, Mr. Kakkar. I have come more than you.
Are you coming 100 times? I've never seen you on television.
More than you. I am more than familiar, more than you, Mr. Kakkar.
No, but Prahlad Kakkar...
You are just a publicity hound. You just need to file an FIR on a film star so that you get publicity. Big deal. Yeah.
That is the problem with your channel. When the legal people will come, they will explain nothing. The person who doesn't know law, who doesn't know the
national television पे आ गए हो,
how can you expect something that they will say something good?
आप भी खुश हो, आप national television पे आ गए हो.
Mr. Kakkar, see the Twitter handle
आप
of
खुश रहिए ना. आपके लिए
Ranveer Singh. See the comment what general public of India is giving.
General public could not be bothered. They are more worried about.
We are there for general public. You may not bother.
You are not there for general public. You are there
for yourself. We are
for
for the public. We are doing it for the sake of the public. You are there for yourself,
and you are in a minority.
Well, unfortunately, like I said, it's not a laughing matter simply because there is a case, and as Karuna Nundy said, now this is going to drag on for a long time. Of course, he has the lawyers to help him fight it, etc. But the point is that it is harassment. As I repeat what the Supreme Court has said, in this country, it is the process that is the punishment, and we're probably seeing that play out again. If you don't like his pictures, don't look at them. Just don't look at them. And well, anyway, I have to leave it there. I'm completely out of time. Thank you very much to all of you for joining us.